Hi, my name is Jason Bonham, and I'm working with Hans Zimmer on the Percussion Extraordinaire project. Hans called me out of the blue, and I have to say, Hans, I'm sorry about this. I had to Google you to see who you were. I really apologize. And then was like very impressed. But that was after I spoke to you, so it was okay. And he invited me to work on the Superman project, Man of Steel. So I came and played a part of that. And then he then said, I've got some more work if you'd like it to do. And then we got together and we hung out for a week in his studio. Started writing and doing some stuff towards the new Lone Ranger project. So he then said, he called me while I then went home and he called me and said, I like you. Would you like to be part of this percussion sampling thing? Maybe come back a few days. You know, just relax, it'll be fine. I said, yeah, sure, it'd be nice to be a part of it. And he's such a nice guy to work with. There's no airs and graces. You're treated just, it's just like being family. Very much the whole crew there. Everyone is like family. And I remember them saying to me, do you like being here? Is it fun? And I'm like, yeah, good, we like having you. So, yeah, looking forward to this. I love the fact that his attention to detail is huge. And he was so sweet. When we did Superman, I don't read drum music. I can't read music. So I felt a little out of depth when the sheet music was next to me and all the other drummers are reading, what page are we on? And Hans had told the conductor, said, we're not going to read music today. We're going to play with the feel. I'll tell you what the part is, and then we do it. So Hans did that just for me, because everybody else could read. And so I was like, oh, thank God. But then at one point, I was the only one that he could talk to with his talkback. He didn't have it that he could get to everybody. And he would just keep reminding me, like, stop tapping your foot. I can hear the hi-hat, no hi-hat. I'm just so used to when I'm doing other things, is keeping the foot going. So he had like this whole little way of just so I wasn't embarrassed. He'd go, turn your snare off. Hi-hat, stop tapping your foot. You know, I'm like, sorry, it's okay. So it was cool. I just went, so we got on really, really well. And he just said, I like the way you play. I really like the way you feel. You're very different to some of the other guys. I said, you know what? I came from the jukebox method. Dad would put a jukebox on. I didn't learn rudiments. I didn't sit and know how to do it. Random cues or a paradiddle or single stroke rolls. But Dad would play songs and I would play along to it as a kid. And that's how it went as I got older. And then you kind of figure out some of the things you do when you watch these just fantastic drummers that I get to see and work with. You go, what are you doing there? And they go, oh, that's a so-and-so. I'm like, because you do it, but you don't know when you're doing it. You do it there. I'm like, do I? Thank you very much. So, me coming in is a risk, because luckily, though, there's people that can, whatever I do, can kind of say, that's what you're doing. So I kind of get it done, but I don't know what. They have to explain it differently. If they say, can you do a random cues here, or can you do a single stroke roll? I kind of go, play it to me. Then I go, oh yeah, then I can do it. I don't know what the names are. So it's, you know, a lot of those names, it's just, I play from the feel and the heart. So when I try and do things, I just try and play it the way I would do it, and not by reading it or anybody else telling me how to do it. It's what comes from within, you know. Jim Keltner was a great believer and a great drummer that plays with such feel, and it's how you breathe and how you tick is how you get across, and that's one thing that takes a long time for a drummer, I think, sometimes to get. It's not all about chops. It's about groove and feel and being able to make just kick, snare and hi-hat, breathe and be sexy. I always say, it's not just a guitar. If you can just get that sexiness into drumming, then it's cool. And Dad had that from the very beginning, really. So I'm lucky later on in life when you get to do certain things that more people get to see you do, even though you can be doing it all your life. it's amazing how somebody like myself, 47 years, when I did the Led Zeppelin concert in 2007, when it finally came out last year, there was a response of, wow, I really had no clue that was Jason played the drums. To some people who didn't know me, or didn't know he was that good, or didn't know he was that well. So the more you get out there in a world of people that wouldn't know you, you're, hopefully I can turn people on to something that they would never think of ever listening to me play or whatever. So it's nice to get given the chance to be shown to other people, because it's going to open up a whole new avenue for me. Me doing this was very different. I found, I felt very honoured, but also a fish out of water. I didn't know where the boundaries were, what you're supposed to shut up in the different situations. So it's been nice, So that's, that can be quiet. It's kind of like, okay, light, medium, middle light, medium, but you want to get all the velocities of how you play. And sometimes it takes the time is because I kind of have to play it, I have to kind of play and think, what are the different variations when I'm playing? Instead of just hitting it light, medium, soft. Now, I have to say, when I'm playing, what would be my hardest hit? What is a natural snare beat? Instead of saying, we can all hit it, give it the hardest hit you can, stand up and hit the drum. That might not be the most natural drum sound you want. So I kind of have to keep reminding myself, play a little. That's the level that I would be at a comfort zone. So it's a lot to remember, to make it real, you know what I mean? Because that's what we want it to be. We want it to be real. My kit today is a DW Vistalite. Yes, I said DW Vistalite because they don't make Vistalites, do they? But they do for me. One of the things, John Good at Drum Workshop, I was with him for 22 years and I departed for a matter of 3 to go with Ludwig, and because I wanted Vistalites. I then wanted to go back to DW and I asked John and he said, okay, he would make Vistalites for me again because I just love the way the sound, the acrylic drums, the way they sound. And that's the kind of the thing I've always kind of to be slightly different. When I did the Superman project, it's funny how they jumped out at Hans. The drums really did. Every other drum was like, wow, it's one of those things you don't think they're going to sound that good. So it's kind of unique. It was kind of my dad's thing too. He loved the Vistalite drums. So yeah, I mean, I use a very basic setup, just like, Pop's, which is 14 by 10 rack, 16 by 16 floor, 16 by 18 floor, 26-inch kick by 14 deep, old school. I've got an array of snare drums, which I use, which I've collected over the years, from carbon fiber to wood, to brass, to stainless. So today we will go through everything that we possibly can, with gels, without gels, with beaters, with brushes, I'll have a grey beard by the end of today. But I think for the since 2005, I've used one snare drum on every project I've ever done, regardless. I carry it around with me like a prized 58 Les Paul that a guitarist would carry. If anything, it's funny, the pedals, my drum pedals and my snare drum, are just something I feel very comfortable with. So I always try and say, if I can, that's where I would like, if the worst case scenario and all we could take was 2 items, it would be my drum pedals and my snare drum. So yeah, definitely the snare drum is one of my favorites. One of my favorite kits is at home, which is my pride. It's more sentimental now. It's the kit I used when I did the Led Zeppelin reunion. So it sits up there and goes, I did it. It's great to do it, and it will just sit there now and get dusty. I think just knowing the history that this room is usually filled, some of the greatest movies are probably, the scores were done here. And for me, it's a great way. This is where I first met Hans. So this is, for me, it's when I walked in today, because I didn't realise it was going to be actually this same room. To walk in, and this is where it all began for me, with my relationship with Hans. First time we met, to do it, you know, to work with the Man of Steel, to watch the screens, and at one point to actually feel what we were doing, where it was going to be. It was just a great experience, you know, which I would cherish, you know. But it was at a strange time in my life as well. My father-in-law was clinging to his life in a hospital bed. My wife was away. I'm here with my son, just to come in and do, just to do it, you know. And it was a great way to kind of just forget for a day what's going on and play. So to be back here, it's very special.